What's up, everybody? This is Danny, and I am stuck in New York City for an extra day because there was some torrential flooding and it was ridiculous last night. But you wouldn't be able to tell because it's an absolutely beautiful day. We're gonna go explore the city, and then I'm gonna take the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and I'm gonna compare it to some of the flagships out there. iPhone 12 Pro, we're gonna do Galaxy S21, and we're also gonna do Galaxy S21 Ultra. So let's spend a day together and let's see how good the Galaxy Z Flip 3 camera is, or how bad it is. Let's go. I thought this was a fair comparison since they both cost exactly the same price at $999. They both have an ultra wide and a main, but you do get a 2x choice on the iPhone 12 Pro, so keep that in mind. As you might have noticed earlier with the images, the iPhone 12 Pro does have a better overall image, better contrast, and highlight preservation. You can also see higher dynamic range in situations like this, better overall detail. Just take a look at the bricks. This is a wide angle shot. Same amount of shadow detail, but better highlight control and balance on the building itself. In complex situations, the Z Flip 3 can bump up the shadows, so I can see people liking this better. It's not a giant difference, but you can also see the shutter speed is more optimized on the iPhone for movement. This was shot indoors. But the added sharpness and vibrancy is really nice on the Z Flip 3 when it comes to food shots, but overall balance is still better on the iPhone 12 Pro. The clipping that you see here is typical in Samsung fashion, so you will notice that if you use the Z Flip 3 as a daily driver, but overall you can see how it compares to the iPhone 12 Pro. In comparison, it's not as good, but you have to determine if this is enough of a difference for you. I just wanted to show you the difference if you're looking to try something new, if you're an iPhone user, but if the camera is important to you, I would just stick with your iPhone 12 series phone. Okay, so we just came to Chelsea Market. We had like 2 or 3 different meals. It was really good. They're actually getting gelato over there, but you know, I gotta take a little break because I gotta eat later tonight. One thing about the Galaxy Z Flip 3 that I think a lot of people are concerned about is just the dual camera system. And it is the same 12 megapixel camera system from last year, but I don't think that the quality is gonna blow you away, but it's not as bad as what people are saying it is. Yes, it's not the flagship cameras, but as you can see in this video, it definitely works. I think most people will really find this phone to be very intriguing, and also it's so fun. It just basically makes shooting with a phone fun again, because when you have that tripod mode, you can put it anywhere. You can take hyperlapses and you can take selfies, and it's so unique. And the cover display is so much easier to use now because it's so big. And I love the fact that you can record directly from there, video, you can shoot photos directly from there as well. Now, the one thing that I don't like is this. Another thing I don't like about the cover display is if you record directly from it, which is awesome, right? Because you can switch between the lenses and everything, is that you don't get a full 16:9 aspect ratio. What you see right now is what you're getting out of it. So I don't see what the difference is. You should be able to get 16:9, but you can't. So be aware of that. It's so handy. I hope they fix this in a software update. So the next natural comparison that I wanted to do is with the Galaxy S21. I feel like maybe this demographic might want to jump into a foldable device, even though the Galaxy S21 at the time of this video is cheaper, so keep that in mind, and it does have a triple camera system with a 3x zoom where the Flip 3 has no zoom. So here's a comparison of the 2x digital zoom from the Flip 3. It doesn't look bad for social media at all, but when you do punch in, you can see there is a clear difference. The difference isn't huge, but the S21 is just better all around. You can see better balance with higher dynamic range. Just take a look at all the windows here. The S21 favors the higher contrast, where the Z Flip 3 favors more shadow detail, so this will probably be more of a preference thing. I saw this again and again with a lot of the shots that I took, so if you prefer a brighter overall image, I think you will lean towards the Flip 3, but I prefer the better control and the details. But as usual, things could change as software updates are rolled out, so keep that in mind because a lot of this is software, I'm sure. I tested these two cameras also at night to see if there was a major difference. I think for social media shares, you aren't going to notice a ton of difference, but in some of the shots, I did notice that the noise level is higher on the Z Flip 3, but you're probably only going to notice that if you're pixel peeping like I am here. The sunset was really beautiful that night, so I'm glad I got to capture it. As I said earlier, the Z Flip 3 does have more noise in the shot. Just take a look at the sky. But if you have time to kick in that night mode, the noise cleans up very easily. So this one, you're going to have to determine if that extra bit of quality is a big deal for you. But if you're coming from the Galaxy S21, it's not going to be a huge change, but I found it to be a slight downgrade. But it was an interesting comparison nonetheless. So let me know what you think. Now this one I just did purely for fun, and that is against the best of the best, the monster Galaxy S21 Ultra. The Ultra has the big 108 megapixel sensor and the most flexibility with the crazy zooms, and you also get this sweet 3x portrait mode, which I love. So if you want all of that, of course you'll have to go with the Ultra. But I didn't want to focus on that, just image quality, because at this point, these phones are about equal in price because you can find the S21 Ultra on sale a lot. So I thought somehow this made sense. The reason why I did this is because even though the S21 Ultra is the better camera system, I wanted to show people that there isn't a drastic difference in the main sensor shots, so you aren't losing massive quality like people might imagine you are. In fact, the smaller sensor has its advantages because you can see in a lot of these shots, the Z Flip 3 keeps more of the picture in focus. And while stylistically the Ultra is awesome with the best natural background separation, a lot of these people might prefer the Z Flip 3 shot, and I wouldn't blame you. Just like the S21 comparison, you'll see better balance all around on the Ultra. Take a look at the clouds here, way more detail. The Z Flip 3 again favors the shadow detail, so it boosts up the brightness, which again I think a lot of people might like. But technically if you look, you can see that the Ultra has a better image, especially when it comes to portrait mode shots. When the light starts to go down, the skin is way too boosted on the Z Flip 3 to compensate for the older hardware. Sorry Josh, I had to do you like this, but this is a good example of how the S21 Ultra handles the highlights and skin tones better. But I do have to admit, if the Z Flip 3 does something very well, it's the food shots. The extra sharpening again just nails it, and the detail is great. And even though it does have less natural depth of field, I think it really works here, and I'm still dreaming of that pizza. It was so good. For those of you that shoot a lot of video, I wanted to test it out. Here in the subway, the difference isn't that drastic. If you do look closely enough though, the Z Flip 3 does have more noise, but it isn't a huge deal. When we sat down for Korean barbecue, this was much darker in the setting, and you can see that the S21 Ultra was letting more light in, creating a brighter video overall, and it's a little sharper too, but it's not as drastic as what I thought it would be. When it gets darker in an outside scenario, they both don't do very well. The smaller sensor actually crushes the shadows more for a better looking overall image. Let me know what you think of this. Samsung phones in general don't do the best at nighttime video anyways, but this is what you can expect if for some reason you're coming from the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I am betting that you were expecting a larger difference, right? I was surprised as well. So I hope you enjoyed this comparison in New York City. I think you'll have a much better understanding of where the Galaxy Z Flip 3 stands in terms of camera quality. Yes, it's old hardware, but Samsung has done a pretty good job with software to make the Flip 3's camera make sense somehow. I want to know, honestly, from you, what did you think? Do you think the Galaxy Z Flip 3 overperformed, or is it exactly what you expected? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this, subscribe for a lot more content just like this, and I will see you in the next one.